welcome back to the Impact Defense Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8.
What's up, guys? In this episode, we are going to be talking about understanding and preventing confrontations in self-defense. This is a little bit of a callback to our last episode where we're talking about so many problems in self-defense teaching and well, not just even seminars, but I mean just teaching. And because so many people go to a martial arts class out here and like, oh, okay, now you can defend yourself. No. So now we're going to look at and expand on the kind of the mental preparedness stuff and also the strategies in self-defense. All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by impact.online/shop. Yep, that's us. You guys can check out some t-shirts over there. We've got some shirts. We got hats. We got a few other things that are coming. So head over there, check that out, and see what you think. All right, so the very first thing that we want to talk about is the power of situational awareness. Mm-hmm. I cannot overstate this enough. Being aware of the things that are going on around you will stop you from being targeted most of the time. I mean, I don't understand. And we get some pushback on this because everybody wants to talk about being paranoid, but we had a whole podcast on that. Mm-hmm. If you guys haven't seen that, check that one out. Situational awareness and paranoia is not the same thing. Okay, it's just knowing what's going on around you and paying attention. And I know that there are people that say that, yes, you should not have to do that. And while I don't disagree with you, we still live in reality. You know, I heard somebody actually as a self-defense instructor tell someone tell while they were teaching that I am not going to sit here and tell you not to put both your earbuds in public and go for a run and not, and drown out the world. Because you shouldn't have to worry about that.
What?
I heard that. And my problem with that is, in an idyllic world, that would work. That would work. We don't live in that idyllic world. We live in the real world. Mm-hmm. And in the real world, if you completely and totally drowned out everything that is around you, you are more likely to be picked as a target. So we need to be aware of everything that's going on around us. Now, often for years we have always said just put one earbud in, but now with pass-through on a lot of earbuds, or active listening, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? Transparency mode. Thank you to our producer, Luke. And several different companies have several different names, so I may have hit a couple of them there. But the idea that you can put both earbuds in and still hear everything that's going on around you. That's cool. That's great. If you don't have that option, I would definitely just put one earbud in. Yeah. Okay. It's just, it's super important to kind of know and be able to hear the things that are going on around you and also look around and see those things.
Right.
I feel like I'm hammering that point. I feel like we actually hammer that point so much on this podcast and in our teachings and our seminars and everything.
The first step in self-defense is just being aware of your surroundings.
And I would almost argue it's almost the most important step.
Yeah.
Because if it's the thing that's going to stop you from getting picked as a target to begin with, well, it's right up there as one of the most important things to learn. The next thing would be kind of trust your instincts. There is a great book out there. I will try to remember to link in the description that is all about trusting your instincts. The book is The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker, and it is really, really good on trusting your instinct. If you are a female, another good one is The Superpower for Women. Mm-hmm. That is also another super good book on trusting your instincts as a woman when it comes to self-defense. So I will actually link both of those down in the description. There are just certain situations where you might walk into a certain place or something, and while everything looks normal, something just doesn't feel right.
Right.
And I don't know how many times I've been in a situation where it's like, this just doesn't feel right. And what's the worst thing? I walk out of the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, Well, in honesty, most of the time you're not sacrificing much to just go ahead and walk out. The thing that we do so many times, and the thing that we hear about in these really bad situations, is it didn't feel right in the moment. And something told me I shouldn't have done this, but I tried to tell myself, stop being afraid, stop being whatever, everything's going to be fine, and move on. And then something terrible happened. I know one of the opening, and I don't think I'm really giving anything away, but the opening story in the book, The Gift of Fear, was talking about a woman who was going up to her apartment and somebody was kind of force teaming and trying to help her get her stuff in. And she said it just felt bad, but she just didn't want to, feel awkward. She didn't want to, she just kind of kept telling herself, it's all going to be okay. It'll be fine. Yeah. Well, she ended up getting raped and he actually was going to kill her, but she got away. So, trusting your instincts is a huge thing. The next thing that I don't think gets talked about enough in most self-defense training is communication. Good communication, de-escalation skills.
Oh, gosh, yes. It feels really awkward whenever we do it in class, but one thing that I tell the other students is that, you need to learn how to do this. I don't care if it's awkward or not. Yeah. It's a good skill to have.
Yeah, and we work on this. We work on this for everything from kids to adults.
Right.
Because being able to communicate and de-escalate a situation with your voice is hugely important. And I know that I have been in, 2 situations that were pretty rough in 1 minute that I was able to kind of calm down and then get out of. And it makes a huge difference when you can use your voice to get out of the situation.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of de-escalating the situation is talking like if you were that really boring teacher that you had in school.
Yeah.
And just very talking in a monotone voice, not really lifting up your voice in a way, not in an exciting way, not yelling right back at them, hey, I didn't do that.
Yeah. And even if you're saying something and saying the right words, but you're saying it wrong, you can still escalate the situation.
Yeah.
If you sit there and you yell, hey, let's just calm down, that's not really calm, and it's not really doing anything for anyone. What you really need to do is, talk, like you said, in that monotone voice. Hey, let's just calm down and let's talk about this. Let's be rational. All of these things, this will help. I know from experience where I was in a situation getting a friend of mine out of a situation, and there were 2 guys there that were very, very mad. They were threatening him. Then when I came up, they were threatening both of us. And I was able to just calm the situation down and let's just talk about this and be rational and all this, in enough time to get my friend into a vehicle. And then I jumped in the vehicle and we got out of there. So I can tell you that de-escalation skills work great. So it just takes training and practice and everything else. And everything else, you've got to make it second nature.
Right.
The next piece would be avoidance. We've talked about this many, many times as well. You see something sketchy going on. You see somebody sketchy. You see something. Avoid that situation. If you see somebody that you already have an issue with, or that has an issue with you, avoid.
Make a game plan to avoid.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You're just going to go around the situation. If you're school-aged, or you have school-aged children and they have an issue with a bully or something like that, then you just tell them the first thing is be aware of everything that's going on around them and be aware of where that bully is, and then avoid that bully. It's not cowardly to do so. It is the smart thing to do. And because we don't want to fight. Exactly. We don't want to fight unless we are forced to.
Right.
Yes, that's our last thing that we want to do in this situation.
Also, de-escalation can come into fact.
Yeah, de-escalating and everything else can come in with all of that. So.
Because then if the bully is yelling at you and you're just talking in a regular monotone voice, not yelling back at them.
Yeah.
Or anything, then they're gonna seem like the crazy person.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And then our next thing would be the continually checking yourself. How am I doing at these certain skills?
Right.
And then that idea of never ending a constant improvement. You know, you want to get better. You want to improve. You want to improve as a person. You want to improve as a defender, as a protector. You know, you want to get better, because if there's no point in any skill that we have as humans where if you don't practice it, that you either continue to improve or even stay where you are. We talked a few weeks back to Tim from Cornered Hill Firearms Training, and you know, he was talking about shooting. And yeah, if we're not out there shooting and putting rounds down range, then you're not the same that you were. You're worse.
Yeah.
You know,
People think that they take one class of something and then they're like, oh yeah, I know everything.
or even, well, not even necessarily that. Let's say you go out there and you shoot and you train and you get better and then you're doing good, and then you don't pull the trigger on a gun for 6 months. When you go back out there, you're not going to shoot the same.
Right.
You know, I know that from personal experience as well. But I mean, that goes with everything. It's not just shooting. It's your, you know, it's your self-defense skills. You know, if you don't practice awareness, and when I say practice awareness, I'm just saying when you're going out and around being aware and everything, you're going to miss things.
Right.
You know, and then when you pick it back, everything you have in life is a perishable skills. Skills are perishable. Everybody says once you learn to ride a bike, you can always ride a bike. I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is, if I could ride a bike and I could do all kinds of things on a bike, and then I wait 30 years and I get back on the bike, I will not be able to do all the things that I used to be able to do on a bike.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is skill. Yeah.
Right.
And some of it's aging, sure. But a lot of that's skill, you know? So anyway, we had this idea of never ending constant improvement and a continually self-reflection where we're checking ourselves on things. I have had this recently. We've talked about this in so many different episodes of the podcast this season about, you know, my level of fitness is not where it should be, and not, you know, and I've used excuses and everything else up until this point. And now I'm like, okay, I got to get my butt in shape. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling the way I'm feeling. So we got to, and I know that right now I'm not as effective as a defender as I would be, I would have been, you know, 10 years ago when I was in much better shape. So it's just a thing of like that constant self-reflection and constant self-improvement.
Right. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you guys.